We continue to follow developing news out of Chesapeake tonight. We have new information on that deadly school bus crash. We've been working since our last newscast to get answers, and we've learned the victim was visiting family from out of town. The SUV collided with the bus at about 2:30 on Taylor Road and Peppercorn Drive in the Western Branch section. Chopper 10 shows you the scene shortly after it happened. No students were seriously injured, but a Centera spokesperson tells us 12 sought care at the emergency room for bumps and bruises. Now, police say the driver of the SUV was killed, and we just learned his identity. 10 on your side's Jason Marks has been investigating the story all night. He joins us now live from the scene. And Jason, you learned some heartbreaking details.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're really learning more about the victim who died to today's crash. A 67-year-old Raymond Bowser from the Shenandoah area. Now, we're told from family that he was coming here because he had some very special plans tomorrow night. He planned to take his young granddaughter, his only granddaughter, trick-or-treating, and that's why he was coming into town. He still had luggage in the back of his SUV when he hit that bus.
I hear a loud, extremely loud boom, and it shook our house. So I look outside my window and all I see is smoke.
I walked out on the front porch and I could see the bus clearly with smoke coming out.
First thing I did was go for the driver to see if he was okay, because there's only two other people out here, and it was obvious he wasn't okay.
That driver, 67-year-old Raymond Bowser, was dead. Bowser's SUV collided with a bus full of students and sent nearby residents into action.
Everybody around the accident, they all came out and they all tried to help the kids, and the kids inside the school bus, they were screaming, and it was just a chaos.
Dominic Ross was watching from his bedroom window. He could see Victoria Peters and Sarah Weimer run towards the bus.
We opened up the back door of the bus and just got all the kids off and put them in the grass over here.
These poor kids, they're 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, and they were just crying. They wanted their parents. They didn't know what to do.
Police say Bowser was headed east down Taylor Road. The school bus taking kids home from Western Branch Intermediate School was making a left-hand turn from Peppercorn to Taylor. The impact was felt right in the middle of the bus.
Some of the little boys and girls, they had blood on their faces. One little boy had a gash that you could clearly see bone on his elbow. A couple of them were holding their legs. They didn't want to move because they had been smushed up against where the car had impacted them.
Bowser's from Elkton, Virginia, near Harrisonburg. Family says he was on his way into town to visit his only granddaughter. The plan was to take her trick-or-treating. His family lives right off of Taylor Road, and for some reason he went right past their turn. Like family, everyone now waits for investigators to figure out what happened and why.
It's terrible. It's something that I didn't even expect to happen today.
And police were out here for about 5.5 hours. Taylor Road was reopened around 8 o'clock. Police are telling us witnesses say that Bowser might have been speeding at the time of the crash. That's all part of this ongoing investigation. But we can tell you police are saying alcohol did not play a factor. That's the latest here in Chesapeake. Jason Marks, 10 on your side.
And we have team coverage from the scene of the crash to the school the bus was coming from. 10 on your side's Lauren Compton went to Western Branch Intermediate to talk to parents, and she has this part of the story.
She called me crying, and I thought, she locked herself out of the house. I wasn't home.
The reality would be worse, much worse.
She said the bus hit, and I thought she was trying to tell me the bus hit her. And then she got out, the bus hit the car because she was crying. And I was like, okay, she's like, you need to come and get me.
Angela Baker rushed to the scene. Her daughter Abigail was one of 25 kids on bus number 153.
When I got here and saw the car, I kind of went into panic mode thinking, oh my gosh. Because the bus is pretty trashed and the car is demolished.
A lot of emotion going through. Is she all right? Consequences and so forth. Not just for me, but for everybody else on the bus driver and the driver also.
Police say the SUV crashed into the side of the bus, a terrifying moment for those kids on board.
We were just driving and the bus bounced and everybody shifted to one side. And then people just started crying and screaming.
12 kids were taken to 2 area hospitals for minor bumps and bruises. Others were brought back to the Western Branch Intermediate School where they were reunited with their families. We're told all of the students are back home tonight recovering and processing the grim sights they saw and the pain they heard.
It was pretty scary to know that we were in that situation.
Well, at least today she's a little traumatized, a little bit, understandable and everything like that. So she'll be at home with us today, but tomorrow it'll be regular business as usual.
Now, this is the second deadly bus crash in 1 week in Hampton Roads. Last Tuesday, Chris Montez died when a bus hit him at Holland Road and Independence Boulevard in Virginia Beach. Now, Montez was out of his car after it stalled in the intersection. We are still waiting to hear if the bus driver will face any charges.